Hi, this is Lisa from Local King Rubber Stand. Today I'm going to show you how to make this see-through slider car, and also I'm going to show you how we are going to add those green and the red lights on. So that's started. Okay, so today's tutorial, actually I am combining the few tutorial I just post on the YouTube recently. I was showing you how to make a slider car. I was showing how to add the light. I was showing you how to create a background. So it's going to be a little bit longer, but in this tutorial I have a lot of great tips and I like to share with you. So we are going to actually play a game, and then in the end of this tutorial, if you figure out the answer, I am actually going to send you the stamp set and the matching die set that I'm using in this tutorial. So it's going to be fun. That's started. Okay, so how are we going to play? So in this tutorial, I'm going to show a lot of great idea and great tips, right? So every time when I mention one good idea or one good tips, I am actually going to put this sausage somewhere in this picture. And then, so there's going to be only two answers by the answers that I need to know by the end of this tutorial. The first question is, what does this sausage mean? If you have been following my YouTube, you probably know what the sausage mean in the tutorial. The second question is, how many sausages in this tutorial? And then by the end, if you can figure out how many sausages and what does the sausage mean, and I am going to choose one of the winner, I'm going to send the Lisa stamp set and the matching die set plus the car to you as a gift. Okay, so that's started. Okay, so first we are going to working on the train first, and we are going to use all aboard stamp set. We're going to need the one the engine, and we actually need the 5 cargoes. So that means you have to stamp 5 times and the die cut 5 times. But actually we are going to kind of do some adjustment. We're only going to cut 3 times, and I'm going to show you how to kind of cheat it. Okay, so if you have a box of Local King's magic marker, awesome. You can use marker to coloring it. It takes a little bit longer time to do it. So that's why in this tutorial, I'm going to use a combination of the impact and the marker. So those impact are Rubbernecker's brand new product, the color fuse. They have a 48 different color, and the size is perfect to do the things that I'm going to do. So I am going to just use the impacts and the markers together. Okay, so we need the 1 train and we need the 5 cargoes. So actually we need the 6, but we are going to cut 4, and the other 2 we can kind of cheat. And then I'm going to show you how to speed out. If you have a box of a Local King's marker set, that's awesome. You can just color your image with markers. Because we are going to have too many stamp and cut, I'm going to speed out. I'm going to use the impact. So those impact is Rubbernecker's new product, is a color fuse. They have a 48 different color. So it's awesome. The size is perfect. They have a small size like that. And then you just kind of rubbing the color on top, rub, and tap. So we start with a light color. This is Apica and the nectar. Okay. And then we're going to use this cinnamon to color the rail and the traffic light, and then give a little bit darker brown on the bottom of this train. So if you want to have a more red, you just add a more red color. Okay. And then we are going to just use a combination of a marker. We're going to give a little bit touch up. The first, the rail. Can add a little bit like a navy blue, a little bit purple here and there. Just put all the color on top. Okay, and then last we are going to just use the black to color the wheels. So if you have a stamp positioner, it's awesome. You can use a stamp positioner because this is a big stamp. If you don't have a stamp positioner, you can use like a big acrylic block. That will do too. And take your time, or marker dry slow on the rubber, so give it enough time to finish your coloring. And then we are going to use this coated matte cardstock. I got it from the Paper Cards and Marcos. You can check their website if you wish to purchase some of their matte cardstock or glossy paper. Okay, so give a nice firm press. Okay, make sure you give a nice stamp, and there's a big stamp, so just make sure you push everywhere. You don't want to get a boo-boo, right? And just in case, okay, be very careful. Or you can just use a stamp positioner to do that. That's what it looks like. Isn't that awesome? And then next one, you are going to just use the cargo and then stamp few times. I need at least 4. Okay, so the next step, we are going to die cut it. See, the reason I stamped them a little bit far away from each other, because we can use our guiding window to die cut it. So because our die cut is really detailed, like cut between, so that's why you need the guiding window. If you just place your die cut like this, you kind of take a look, it's almost there, and you die cut it. This is probably the oops happen. It's going to have a big white gap. So what you're going to do is you just cut a piece regular cardstock, run to the machine die cutter, and then you put your guiding window on top, and then you put your die cut on top of that. So that's how you get a perfectly layering. And we're going to just use a washi tape to tape it, and then we are going to also do this one, and I'm going to just fast forward it. Okay, so next we are going to use a piece of glossy paper, and I will listing all the card size you need. So we're going to need glossy paper, that's our main card, and then we are going to need a white cardstock in the middle, and then we are going to need 3 pieces acetate, and I'm going to have a 1 piece of plastic. This plastic you can use any kind of Ziploc bag. Just get a little bit bigger one, because we don't want to have that folding area. We want to have like a 1 piece. Okay, so and then just check the list for all the size. Okay, so we're going to make this box first, and this is the basic card. The length is 9 inches, the width is 6.5. So I have do a scrolling line. First section is 4 inches, and the 0.25 scrolling, and then the other 4 inches, and then the other 0.25 scrolling. So that's what it look like. And then also in the back of the car, so this is going to my front, right? I have to cut a window. On the left side is 0.75 inches. On the right side is 1 inches, 0.5 inches. On the top and the bottom is all 0.5. So don't worry about the detail. I will have a layout inserting this tutorial, so you can see what's the measurement. Okay, so now I have created a window, right? On my left side is only 0.75. On the right side is 1 inches. Also, I mark half inches too. And then from the half inch, and then the first section is 4 inches, right? I have put the one cross here in the 2 inches area because that's the place I am going to punch a half circle. So this half circle is going to be the place that I pull in this area. Okay, so here is a great tips for you because I want to fold in my card first. So I'm going to fold in my card. Okay. And then just make sure they are nicely folding. You can use, I think that's good enough. So you kind of create a box here, right? And then now I am going to use a pencil. Don't tape it yet. I am going to just use a pencil, kind of mark a curve area. And then now I am going to just punch it. So that way I will get the perfectly layering. Okay, so next I put my stamp on the acrylic block, and when you, first of all, you try to figure out where you want to have your card go. Try to find the place. So this is what you do. You put your cargo on top of your paper and see where you want. And then you're going to put your acrylic block on top. And then before you stamp it, you want to make sure the real line and with your acrylic block have to be parallel. So I put a piece of washi tape here as your guiding. So make sure your real line, your washi tape, and your acrylic block, they are 3 parallel lines. So that way when you stamp it, you are not going to get like they will be in the same level. So we are going to stamp the first time, and the second time just make sure your washi tape and your acrylic block is the level, same level of your card. So that's how you get your train on the same level. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I put a piece of washi tape here is when you stamped it, you are guiding with your washi tape, not guiding with your rubber stamp, because rubber stamp, see when you take a look like that, if you got guiding with your rubber stamp, you get definitely going to get a crooked image. So we're going to stamp in the middle one first, and then remember your acrylic block have to be level with your card stock. Okay, and just kind of eyeball it in the middle and then give a nice firm press, hold for 3 seconds and the paper really absorb the ink, and then we are going to do the other two. Okay, so next we are going to working on the blue area, the background color. So if you if you decide you want to die cut it, so you can just color the background and then you're going to glue your die cut the cargo on top of the car. But I found that it depends on which part you like to save the time. So here is the other great option for you. This is my prototype. And you can see it's kind of shining, right? So this is the one I just stamped already on my cardstock, and I work on the background. But how I'm going to masking this area? So this is how I do. It's very easy. Remember this? This is our guiding window, but this guiding window is a little bit different with this guiding window. See, it's kind of shining, right? Because I put the packing tape on top. So the reason I put the packing tape on top is because first of all, this guiding window will last longer, and then second of all, they become water resist. So what I'm going to do is I am actually, you don't really need the tape. I'm going to seal with a clear embossing. So we are going to just put the guiding window here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we use a Versamark. We kind of just tapping, but make sure your Versamark is only working on top of this guiding window. You don't want to get any versamark on top of your background. So try to just handle here. Move right side, move to the left side. Okay. So that way the cargo area is covered with Versamark, and we're going to use a clear embossing. And then for this guiding window, what you're going to do is you can just use a wet cloth, kind of clean the surface because it's covered with the packing tape, right? So that way they will not damage that. And then we are going to just use our embossing tool, and I'm going to just do the fast embossing. Okay, so now my card is covered with embossing, clear embossing, right? So it's kind of masking it. And now I can working on the background without disturbing my cargo. So we're going to use these 4 beautiful blue tone. We're going to use a magic mushroom to color it, or you can use it any way you like. You can do the watercolor, whatever. So we kind of just start with a light color. I'm kind of just tapping. I want to kind of create a beautiful blue sky. So start with a light color, and then just give a little bit darker color. And then this magic mushroom is perfect to coloring and a little bit darker blue. So from the light to the dark, you don't have to worry about the clean your magic mushroom. But once when you use a darker color, you want to come back to use a lighter color, you got to clean your magic mushroom before you start the light color again. So that's what the blue one looks like. And I'm going to do a little bit yellow, or you can do green. They can be very smoothly coloring, and also they can create some kind of texture. It's really dependent on how you color them. You can do a little circling, you can tapping, you can do anything you like, but always remember start with a light color and add a darker color. Okay, that's what it looks like. Isn't that fast and easy how I color? And then before we move on to the next step, you can just use a wet cloth, kind of wipe off any color which is sitting on your cargo. That's how I did my background. If you want to do more, add more color, totally up to you. Okay, so next we are going to add some cloud. So I use this cloud shape is a long cut. So you can use anything you like. If you don't have this cloud die cut, you can always create it yourself. So this is what I did. I just pre-cut it, and I am going to use a darker purple, a little bit darker color. Okay, pick up the mushroom. And then I just die cut it, right? And I'm going to use a part of this die cut as my guiding, my template. And then I kind of just gently tap some color. And then I love our magic mushroom because when you tap harder, it's darker. When you release a little bit pressure, it's become lighter. So you can create too many tones just with one mushroom and the one color. See, that's what it looks like. And then you can have a move your template stencil a little bit lower, and then give a little bit more. Okay, so this is a piece paper I just die cut with a cloud die cut, and then I use it as a stencil. But I found out if I add, I found out my sky is too blue. I want to add a little bit white cloud. What I did is I just flip over this side, and I used my blue magic mushroom. Just give a little bit touch up, just gentle. We don't want it too much. Very soft color. Okay, if your mushroom have too much color, just make sure you clean with a wet cloth. Okay, like this. And then now we can use that blue as a part of our background color. I'm going to just trimming a little bit this part. Okay, so now I have my foundation card. It's nice and coloring. I have all my pre-cut here. So we're going to working on the slider card. And then the slider card is actually, I just had a tutorial number 125. If you like to learn how to make a slider card, you can check that tutorial. It's more detailed. In this tutorial, I'm going to just fast explain it to try to keep this tutorial be shorter. Otherwise, this is going to become like a 1-hour tutorial. So we're going to working on the slider card. And then after that, we're going to do the wiring. For the wiring part, also, I have a few of the tutorial and I'm going to mention the number on the bottom of this screen. So the basic wiring, and then so that way you know how the wiring work. And then in this tutorial, I'm going to just show you how you are going to follow, like to place your wire on this card to make the switch with the slider. Okay, so we're going to need the two cut. The two cut, so here is my front card, and I just rotate in the back. On the left side, which is the right side, you are going to mark 1 inches and 1/2 inches, and then on the bottom is 1/2 inches, and then 2 1/2. So let's do this. Okay, so don't worry, I'm going to have a very clear layout, so you just watch the template. And we're going to do 2 cut here. And then if you want to get more information how to do the slider card, just check the tutorial number 125. Okay, I think here we probably need to explain. So we're going to use a piece of acetate. We are going to just try to level with the left side of your cardstock. Okay, and then you are going to put your trim. So we're going to just apply some tape. Okay, and then you're going to just try to level it, make sure they are the same level. And then the cargo in the back. So this one, I'm going to try to put a little bit on the left side because we might need to cut it. Okay, and then you can see in the back they have an extra, right? So just make sure it's a little bit okay. And then you are going to trim it. Okay, and then so this is going to be the front, the left side one. You use the other piece of acetate, and this time your acetate have to level on the right side of your cardstock. Okay, let's just put everything on top. Make sure we are on the same level. We don't want to have a crooked trim. Okay. And then this time we are going to start from the right side first. 1, 2. I actually need only this half, so I can save this one. And I'm going to trimming this extra. So this is your centerpiece. This is your slider, the front one. Front card. This is your slider, the back one. Okay, and then we are ready for wiring now. Okay, next, so I already pre-stamped and pre-cut my line, and this is just one sheet of cardstock. I found out it's kind of weak, and especially we are adding the lights on, right? So we want to make sure this is nice and strong to hold the light and the wiring. So this is what I did. I just used a nice cardstock. the watercolor paper, and then I cut the 3 sheets. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to just glue them all together, so that way I can make this light much stronger, and then they will hold my light better. Okay, so that's working on the lighting area. So in my previous tutorial, the tutorial 116, 117, 120, and 121, I was showing how to add the lights on. So make sure you check those tutorial too, because in this tutorial, I explain step by step what kind of material you need, where can you find the material, and how to do the basic wiring. So in this tutorial, today's tutorial, I am not going to explain how to do the wiring, but I am going to explain how to add the switch on, like when you slide it, how to turn it on when you sliding the train. Okay, in my previous tutorial, I was trying to explain to you what kind of LED light you can find from the internet. There's 2 kinds I found. One is kind of like this one. It's not flat. They have a kind of probably a 1/4 inch pop out, and which is perfect to make a this light, but there's a problem. So that's why I cannot use this one if I want to have a 2 color. I found out the red color is more stronger than the green. So when I connect the green and the red with this kind of light, my husband told me because the voltage is different, the green one is weaker than the red one. So when I try to turn it on, the red one is more brighter than the green, so it doesn't work the way that I like. So that forced me to change the light to this kind. Okay, so just check the link. I have all the material list on the bottom. If you want to purchase this one, you can find this one because they are smaller, and when you turn it on, they are the same equal voltage. So the green light and the red light, they both work well. Okay, so I am going to use this tiny LED light, and I found this one can add a beautiful touch out to make it really look like a light. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use my what's that called? Punch machine, and I'm going to just punch 2 holes, one here. Copper dial, is that what they call this machine? Tool. Okay, so I just punch 2 holes, right? And then I am going to just glue these 2 little glass embellishment on top of that, and then leave it because it needs time to dry. You know what, actually I'm going to do the wire first, and I'm going to leave it later because I want to make sure my lights is work before I finish all the finish touching. Okay, so this is what I do when I planning a project. I always start to make a prototype first. This was the first prototype that I made for this car. Okay, so it's a good idea to working on the prototype, make sure it's working, and then you can add your image on top. So that was my first prototype, and then you can go check our tutorial, I think it's 116, and then explain to you the basic wiring. And then by this car I am making it is actually a little bit complicated because I have a switch on. Okay, so how to do that? As usual, I am working on my prototype, and this is my prototype. It kind of looks, you know, not very well, but I get what I want, and then it's work. So the only difference is this time this prototype have 2 switch. So I use this paper clip. This is the only paper clip I can find. It's very cute, like a crocodile, and you can find the regular paper clip, but just make sure they are like the metal finish. They don't have those plastic cover. And I found out this paper clip is perfect to create the switch like that. So I use one side of the paper clip and then the other side. So and then when you sliding it and then when you touch it, they will turn it on. Okay, and then this is one of the reasons because I try to do one green light, but because the voltage is different, so that green light make it weaker. So if you want to have a two same color, they will work just fine. You can use this kind of light. But if you want to have a different color, like a green and red, but probably because the voltage is different, one of the light is become weaker. Okay, so okay. The first tutorial when I was showing how to do the wiring, I used this wire, and then this one, it doesn't have a plastic coating, and then I changed my wiring to this one even because I couldn't find any kind of wiring like this. And then I was looking for, I said I need some wiring, and then guess what, I'm sure you must have this at home. This is just a cable for the phone, and then unbelievable, after you cut it out, okay, let me show you, they are actually a wire inside. So we are going to just do this. You just use the plier. They actually have two wires inside. Okay, or if you desperately want to make this car and you don't have a wire, this is the other solution. Extension cord. You can find this one from the dollar store. You can they are probably $1.50, and probably you don't have it. You have some that you don't use that, and look how many car you can create. So just you just need to a little bit. So this is what I do. I just trimming it, and I see how many. Look, that many. So they are very, very fine. Okay, so you can. I think you can actually put like a 4 together because one is too fine. If you want to make it like simple car just with push button, that's easy. But if you want to make a little bit complicated, like this is slider car, maybe you can just do 5 together and then kind of just twist them together, and then that will work too. So this is where you can find the wire. If you don't want to cut your extension cord, you can go to Home Depot, buy one. But today's tutorial, I am actually going to use the one that I get it from the telephone cord, because we are going to do the sliding one, right? So when you do the sliding one, you got to make sure your positive and negative, they are not touching each other, because if they touch each other, it's not going to work. So it's good to have this plastic coat to protect your wire that can protect they touch each other. Okay, so when you prepare your wiring, just in case have a little bit more, don't just cut exactly the length. You want to have a little bit longer line just in case. And then if you're working with this tiny mini light, here is something you got to pay attention to. So they have a 2 color. If you see, watch closely, one is silver, one is copper. And then so we are going to do 2 together. So I am going to kind of just twist my 2 copper together and then 2 my silver together. And these little tiny light, you got to be careful. They only probably have only a 1/4 inch on the top of the wiring that work. In the back they coating something, so you just have to make sure those like a 1/4 inches the first part of a wire, they are connect with your cable wire. So just use tool to kind of twist them together. Okay, so I twist my silver wires and together and connect with 1 black wire and then the copper part, and then 2 pieces of copper and connect with the red one. And then before we do anything, we got to make sure they are work. So you kind of use a battery and then make sure both of your lights are on. Okay, and then now we are going to put that light, the two, one green and the one red inside this the hole. And then because the is so small, it's hard to glue. So what I do is I use a glue dot. So I'm going to just use a tweezer, kind of put the one dot on top, and then kind of just secure my light. So the glue dot is the perfect. You're going to just place the light on top, one on the right and the one on the left. It doesn't matter which one is green, which one is red. It all work. So just put on the bottom. I'm going to show you. Like this. Okay, just put the glue dots and the secure that one. Okay, and then I kind of twisting two copper together, two silver together, and then you are always going to testing in the middle of your project. Make sure to turn it on. Otherwise, or you finish and they try to put a switch on, it doesn't work. That will be very painful. So always check, once in a while, see they are working or not. Okay, and the next I just punch a hole and put both wire there inside, and then try to figure out where you want your light on. So that's pretty much the place I want to. Okay, and then you're going to turn over. You are going to just secure this light. You are going to put the tape. Okay, you're going to just put the tape here. Okay, so you turn it back, and then I found out this I don't want to move, and actually I want to have a stronger tape. So I actually using duct tape. So just a small piece, okay, 2 or 3 pieces. You want to make sure those two wires, they are not moving. So I use the duct tape, okay, like this. And then in the front, this light, you can put, you can glue now, you can have a piece of foam tape on the top, on the bottom. Okay, and before we move to the next step, what do we have to do? We got to check is our light working or not. Make sure it's not, if it's not working, oops, it's not working, what's going on? Okay, so it wasn't working because my actually positive and negative, they was touching each other. So make sure they are not touching each other. If they touch each other, it's not going to work. And then it's a good idea you always check before you finish your project. Otherwise, it's going to be so painful when you finish it, it doesn't work. So if they are not working, you just got to make sure your positive and negative, they are not touching each other, okay? Okay, so I just taped on top, and then that's kind of moving this bell to see is it moving or not. Okay, it's move. Okay, let's just rolling it. Good, and I'm going to do on the back. Okay, for the backing, you can decide if you want to have a little bit poking out or you want to have a perfectly layering. It totally after you. So I'm going to just leave a little bit open here. So I'm going to remove this piece. Okay, and then remember I want to have a little bit out. So let's just put here. Okay, and then that see is sliding or not. Okay, perfect. It's sliding perfectly. Okay. Okay, now I already put the foam tape. You can see I put on the top, front and the back. So I'm going to just remove the front first. Okay, and then you got to be very careful because those tape are so gluey. If you make a mistake, you cannot pick it out. So just try to place your car right in the middle, like this, and then try to move around, see if your train you can open or not. Okay, that's good. Okay, so here is probably something you got to pay attention. So I am going to use this punching area to line up my insert card, and then in this corner I punch a little hole and then make sure my two wires coming through from that hole, and then just give a try, make sure your light is on, and then we move on to the next step. Okay, and now we are going to working on the switch. So I have these two paper clip, and then I'm going to just grab one of them, and then I am going to just connect my paper clip with my wire. So you just kind of run through the white wire to the paper clip, and you kind of just turning. Try to turn as tight as you can. Okay, and then you're going to trimming the extra one, and then same thing, this one you are going to just run through the paper clip, okay, and then turning like this, and then just trimming the extra one. Okay, and then let's see if it works or not. Yep, perfect. So you just put the one paper clip in the front of a battery, one in the back, and then make sure it's working. And now you just have to secure them. Okay, so the first one, the red one, I am going to just kind of clip in the back of my slide car like this, and then the other one I am going to clip in the corner of the insert car. So the point is just when these two clip, they have to touch that battery, and then you will turn it on and off. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. So you just make sure one of the paper clips under the battery and the one clips on top. And you can see I use duct tape because I really want this piece metal stay here, because if it move a little bit, especially after you glue it, if they move, you won't be able to turn on your light. So just kind of testing it before you glue everything. Okay, so last tip is I'm going to use this embellishment, and I just put a little bit glue in the back, and then use the clear one, and then I'm going to just put on top of that light. It actually looks pretty good. It really look like that. That's the, the light, and then that's what it looks like. Okay, so this card is a little bit complicated, but this card is actually combined for my previous tutorial. We have over 100 different tutorials ready to view on our online DVD library. You can get a lot of information. So that's today's tutorial, seeing through slider card with the lights on, and I hope you can give a try. If you know anybody who is obsessed with the train, I think they will be very happy to receive this card. And have you figured out how many sausages in this tutorial? And so just let me know, leave a comment, and I will announce the right answer, and I'm going to choose a winner, and I'm going to send you this all aboard stamp set and the matching die set, plus this card I just made for you. So thank you for watching. This is Lisa from Low Cooking Rubber Stamp, and I forgot to mention, so these all aboard stamp set and matching die set, we are going to do a special promotion. So get a stamp and die together for only $34.99 plus free shipping. Yep, that's right. You will get the 5 stamps and the 4 die cut. Thank you for watching. See you next time.